Picture this. You've just started a company with your friends. You're all excited about the possibilities and the potential success. But as your startup grows, questions arise about who owns how much of the pie. Arguments erupt, friendships strain, and the harmony of your startup begins to falter. This is where a cap table comes in to save the day. Or let's pretend you're a newly minted venture capitalist and you found a company you're super excited about, but you don't know how the ownership is currently divided and how incentivized the founders are both today and how motivated they will be in the future. Again, the cap table or the capitalization table will help you understand that situation better. I'm Peter Harris, a venture capitalist with over 15 years of experience investing in over 100 private companies. I've seen some pretty gnarly cap tables in my day, and I'm excited to help you understand the basics so that you can either set things up right at the beginning if you're a founder or avoid messy investments if you're an investor. And if you want to learn more tips like this, please like and subscribe below. Before we dive in, what questions do you have about cap tables? If you're a new founder or a VC evaluating a deal, this should definitely be top of mind for you. In this video, we're going to cover what a cap table is, who should create one, why it's important to venture capitalists and founders, and show you a simple example of what a cap table looks like and what info it tracks. So, what is a cap table? A cap table, short for capitalization table, is a document that outlines who owns what percentage of your business. It lists all of the shareholders, whether they're founders, investors, or employees, and details how many shares each party owns. It also tracks securities that can either act like equity or have the potential to become equity, like safes, options, warrants, and convertible notes. True to its name, it's a little bit like a balance sheet. It tells you how the business has been capitalized, be it through sweat equity or investment. Though unlike a balance sheet, it typically won't include details on any debts outstanding other than convertible notes. This information helps you track who has what slice of the pie and ensures transparency and fairness among all of the shareholders. A cap table is most commonly used for startups and early stage businesses, but all types of companies may use it as well. Also, it's usually private companies, not public companies, that use cap tables, though a publicly traded company will have a shareholder register, which acts much the same way as a cap table. Now, you may be asking how an investor thinks about cap tables compared to how a founder might think of it. Well, for investors, a cap table is a crucial due diligence document. It shows them how motivated the founders are based on whether or not they own a large or small percentage of the company, how much potential dilution they, as an investor, might face as more money is raised over time, how their control and/or voting rights might change over time, whether the company has room to attract and retain talent by incentivizing them through shares, and who else has invested in the company. Are they someone they can trust? Are they active participants or just dead weight? By comparison, for founders, it helps in making strategic decisions, managing employee stock options, ensuring smooth audits, and compliance checks. Essentially, a cap table tracks who owns how much of the company as it grows. What's included on a cap table, and when should it be created? Ideally, you should create your cap table at the same time you legally establish your startup. It's a foundational step that sets the stage for future growth and investment. A cap table tracks who the shareholders are, the number of shares they own, the types of shares they own, and their percentage ownership in the company. It distinguishes between common and preferred shares, options, fully diluted shares, and convertible instruments like safes and convertible notes. Let's go through an example. So, simply put, if you are a founder, then you put your name on the first column. When you start the company, you and your co-founder decide to split it 60-40. You get 60%, they get 40%. You might set up the company with 500 common shares outstanding, giving 300,000 to yourself and 200,000 to your co-founder. Then you go to investors and you convince them to invest. They want preferred shares and 30% of the company for their investment. They also want to make sure that there are enough shares outstanding to give to future employees so that the company can attract and retain great talent. After they invest, they would get 300,000 preferred shares. And an option pool for employees would be created with another 200,000 shares allocated through options. This would mean that there would be a total of 1 million shares that could be potentially outstanding or owned by different individuals in the company and outside as investors. Your ownership would be diluted down to 30%, your co-founder down to 20%, the investors would get their 30%, and there would be 20% remaining for the option pool. As you can see, the cap table helps show not only how many shares everyone has, but also ownership of those shares and represents over time how that ownership might change. A cap table that represents the proposed ownership after investment is made, but before the investment is actually made and the shares issued is called a pro forma cap table and is a very important part of the due diligence process to make sure as an investor or founder, you understand how much of the company you will own post-investment. Hopefully, this was a really helpful video to understand the basics of cap tables. In the future, stay tuned because I'm going to be releasing a lot more videos that go into a deeper dive into how to understand more complex cap tables. And so to make sure you don't miss any of those, please be sure to like and subscribe so you're up to date on the latest videos as they come out. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my other ones, like the ones where I talk about liquidation preferences and term sheets, which are an integral part of informing how a cap table ultimately gets built. Thanks.